Picture of the buckwheat. They had planted it less than 30 days ago with turnips. And so it was up about yay tall, pretty white, uh, little patch, maybe a 20 by 40, doing real good. And bees were just all over it.
And it's a good cover crop anyway.
And yeah, buckwheat. And so I was thinking of, people ask all the time, well, what to plant for bees in the fall. I call it turnip time when you're planting turnips. You can add that into with your turnips. It puts nitrogen. It's a natural nitrogen fertilizer. It's a legume and it puts nitrogen in your soil. So it builds soil and it provides nectar for the bees. Now, I personally don't like buckwheat honey. It tastes like dark molasses. I don't know if any of y'all have ever had buckwheat honey.
One time I put it in my mouth, it said, ew. Oh, hang on. It's really good. One.
If you like molasses, you would like buckwheat honey. And so it brought to my memory, my mother made molasses cookies. And so the molasses flavor. Well, anyway, it's basically time to get started. What's our time day?
It is 6:29.
Well, that's close enough, eh? Let me open in a prayer and we'll get started. Father, we just come before you in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Lord, for each and every person that's here. We ask you, Lord, to just use us today and bless us and speak to our hearts how we can learn more about bees and how to take care of them. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, we have a treasures report.
Do we? Okay, in September in the bank we had 410.
Say yay!
Yay! We had $30 for membership 10, and we had another $10 membership tonight, so that bring up to $450 bill.
Rah rah ree! Okay, it's nice to be in the black. Would somebody make a motion that we accept our, well, we're going to accept the treasurer's report first. So, lady, just wait your turn.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye, boy, we're cruising right along. Now you get a turn.
Thank you. I have a couple of announcements before I can tell you all my minutes. Ari Goodwin is going back into the hospital tomorrow morning with a possible bypass. They're going to replace all his stents in his heart. I was on the phone with him a little bit this afternoon. So again, just keep him in y'all's prayers. And I asked him if there's anything we could do for him, and he said just call it. He enjoys the phone calls. He enjoys the camaraderie. So just call it. I think he gets a little lonesome there, and so please just call it. The other thing is, I want to make this perfectly clear. I have enjoyed working for y'all a lot. After my term is up, I can no longer do it. So please, somebody else, if you want to become the secretary, it takes up a few hours a month, and it's just a good way to know and meet all of y'all and get to know everybody a whole lot better. When I took it over, I really virtually knew no one, and y'all were very, very kind to me in accepting and everything, and I really, really appreciate it, and I've learned so much from all of y'all. Doesn't mean I'm going to disappear. It just means that my life has gotten to be so busy with all what I'm dealing with at home. So I appreciate everything, and December, let's get somebody else in to start in January.
We will have a December party.
Yes, there will be
Just
a December
just
potluck,
a little potluck.
a normal potluck for December and, of course, those elections. So kind of think about who you want to have everybody replaced with, because, you know, doing it for a couple of years can be difficult. So please, if you think you want to step up, get with somebody else, have them nominate you and everything. So anyway, minutes from last month. We met at the old school gym on School Street, and the senior center is still being used for City Hall and Police Department. Ari opened the meeting with a prayer. Treasurer report was $445 in the bank in cash and in cash. I read the minutes. Both minutes and treasurer reports were accepted. Lonnie just, because this guy was on vacation. Yeah, right? Lonnie discussed his plans on attending the Arkansas State Bee Conference, which you did.
I
Will we
did.
get a report on that later?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, pretty good. And Bill discussed the Hardy Homesteaders going to be taking place in the very same weekend. Was the Hardy Homesteaders pretty good, Bill?
It was.
Awesome. Maybe give us a report later.
Sure.
Okay. Lonnie discussed what's blooming. I like a lot. He brought in a whole big bunch of
Weeds.
goldenrod. No, it's not. About 3 weeks later, I called Lonnie in a panic. I babied and nurtured this little patch of weeds. It was goldenrod that I planted specifically, trying to get some started on my place, and my husband mowed it.
It happens.
And I called him in a panic. It sprouted again. Yay! So anyway, and it's time to feed your bees was the discussion. Lonnie hosted a discussion on the different types of in-hive feeders, their pros and cons, as well as a few open feeders containing the boardman feeder, the frame feeders, wraparound feeders, a bucket atop or within the hive with a shim. And then we looked at a video of an open bucket feeder that he did that had grass and sticks floating in it. That is my minutes.
Do I have a motion to accept these minutes? We do, from the right here. Okay. All in favor? All opposed? Aye. Wasn't long enough. So I guess it's safe. Okay.
Stretch won this.
Okay. He won this.
He
How
commented.
did-
It was the first comment.
You was the first comment to win this beautiful #1 prize. Could you take it to him?
Come over here, Stretch. Come up. Come up here. Now you're gonna have to duck down so I can't stretch up. There you go.
Thank you. It was put on the website
The
thing, Facebook, and the people that commented on it would win a prize. And so he was selected, the first one, to do that. Okay, we'll jump over here to my sister. You want to tell about your thing and your embroidery thing too?
Come over here. Come over here.
That was hard.
And also, I just got a new sewing machine a couple of weeks ago, and it's computerized and embroiders, and I got this is on my inside my machine. I can just set it up and boom, 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 and you just have to change the color of the thread, and the machine actually embroiders it.
It really looks neat.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I want one.
Okay, give me a T-shirt.
In
I can
pink.
do it for you.
Yeah, in pink. You have to get a pink one. Look at his face.
Okay. Well, when we first talked, before we started the meeting, we talked about the buckwheat, one of the items that you could plant. It's so simple to grow. You don't really have to prepare the soil that much. It will grow if you sprinkle the seeds right on top of the ground, but it's best if you even take a rake and just kind of rake the ground and put it in there, and the rain will kind of push it in and it will grow. Now, I planted quite a bit, almost 50 pounds in the spring. I don't know if I got much use out of it. The flood came and I thought washed all my seed away. I planted it with pearl millet. The pearl millet seemed to stick, and then all of a sudden I had quite a bit of buckwheat come, and I turned the cows in when the pearl millet was ready to graze, and it turned all dry after that flood. It was, I mean, dry, and on that particular ground was nothing but stubble after the cows had got trampled it, and I left them in there good, and they ate all the pearl millet, the buckwheat they ate, trampled it in. And so here in the fall, that buckwheat did some of it come back. And where the flood had took away the seeds, I could see along the different edges of the woods and stuff, there was buckwheat growing right now and blooming right now. So I have some buckwheat growing on my property with the pearl millet did come back. And then the neighbor's 20 by 40 a patch of turnips, and that looks real nice. And so I was really impressed that, you know, a fall planting, if you're looking for something that your bees will work in the fall, you might put on your list buckwheat. It's easy to grow. Okay, and William, outside of his building right here, this is seeds for honey locusts. A honey locust blooms early spring, a white, beautiful flower. The bees make tremendous amount of nectar from it. It's a clear honey. Normally it's so early in the spring, you don't really get a super of honey locust because it's so early, but the bees build up on it. And so there's lots of seeds here, and I'm sure there's some more out there, right? And you might get a seed pod and consider starting some honey locust trees. They make good fence posts, by the way. A very hard wood, right?
Are they not the ones with the thorns?
Yes.
Yeah.
You had to mention that. I was going so strong about these trees, and then you mentioned something bad about them.
I'm about to chop one down out of my field.
Well, you gotta be careful of the difference between a honey locust and a
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mine is the one with the pods hanging just like that. Well, it's just going green. It's
the black locust makes a beautiful white flower also. Tell us about your glass jars you have here that you have brought in.
Stonewood company down there makes them. I went down and picked up a couple of cases.
That's in Jonesboro?
Yeah. I got extra. I don't think I need them this year. But I get $12 for the quart, $9 for the pan,
That's a case.
12 and the case. I have futures next month. I bring whatever you all want. If you want anything, if not, I'm gonna go make money on them from then on. But I'm making 15 cents on the case of pan,
15 cents?
breaking even on the quart.
It's kind of high, ain't it? Could you take 10?
You count the tan out.
He came back and he met me at Salem, and I picked up mine. He had mine, and the car was so packed. Leanne, sitting in the front seat, had some in her lap, carrying them back. And he says, well, I made a mistake. I'm going to have to go back to Jonesboro and get the rest of them. Okay, you see this beautiful, what would you call that? A tapestry, or would you call it a flag?
Flag.
Okay. The flag and this carry-all. These two items right here, which there's two of these and one of these. I love these signs. This came from Carol Herring. Her husband was one of our beekeepers. Both of them were beekeepers here in our club, and he passed away, and she is moving to Indiana. Already bought a house, and so she donated these back to the club. So I'm not sure what to do with them at this point. If y'all have any ideas, let me know.
I liked your idea about
I think the flag ought to stay with the club.
How about the bag donated to the home Joanne for the auction coming up along and help them out? Would that be okay with everybody? Okay. Everybody say aye. Okay, Joanne, if you have this in your possession after the auction, it means you bought it. Right? Okay. I'm all about show and tell. So when I sort of give a talk, I usually have items to show you or something. So today I don't. I've been down with bronchitis. I'm just getting close to being over it. I'm all drugged up, okay? So if I forget something, what can I say? And I put it on the drugs and bronchitis, right? I'm not catching, so I'm almost over the hump. But I'm still breathing. Okay, our talk today is winter, getting ready for winter. What do you need to do with your bees to prepare for winter? Now, we will do a discussion about sugar brick and all that later on. Now, I suggest on a sugar brick somewhere around the January time period, because the bees can run out of honey that they should have right now coming by January, and on a warm day adding your sugar brick to your honeybees. So right now, I guess the number one thing that you ought to keep in mind for your bees is food. They have to have food to get through the winter. And the old adage question is, well, how much do I give them? Well, every beehive is different, but let's consider a double deep hive. In our area here, they need at least one medium honey super of honey, or you might say close to 90 pounds. Now, that 90 pounds could be some deep frames down in the hive, in the double deep. So if you had a double deep and that top deep was full of honey, I wouldn't worry about the medium. So if you're running singles, at least a full medium on top of that beehive to get them through the winter. So that means that you got to go inside your hive on a nice day. We're going to have a couple of nice days. Pretty soon, the last week of October, approximately, we're going to have a killing frost. And then we'll have a warm up in November, normally. Right? Normally. This year was not normal. Who knows what normal is? Huh? The setting on your dryer. Yes. So that's all that normal is. So the second thing on your managing your beehives, we talked a little bit last time about Verona mites. You do need to get a Verona mite inspection, okay? And how do you do that is through a cup of bees, shake them up in alcohol or car wash soap, some kind of soap, a Dawn dishwashing liquid, like she said, will pretty well put them out quick. And shake them up and look in the bottom of your thing and see how many mites you got. And there's different methods of trying to take care of your mites. At this point, probably rather than taking up all the class time tonight, is look it up on YouTube, watch a video. Everybody pretty well has a computer to watch it on, and learn how to do that. So everything I tell you is on the computer, nothing new really. Third thing is your hive entrances. So right now, it's okay to do a hive entrance reducer. Has anybody done it already? Oh, whoa, okay. 3 of you have done that. I have not. I know. So if you don't hive entrances, if your hive is not come equipped with an entrance reducer, it's so easy to make. You just a stick that goes across the entrance, and then you notch out a little crawl space for them for just about the size of 3 or 4 bees traffic in and out. Excuse thou me. Inside your beehive during the winter, your bees go into a cluster, into a ball of bees. I need some honey and something. Okay, your bees are going to go into a cluster, depending on how many bees. Could be the size of a basketball, could be a little volleyball, big softball. Lots of bees. And it's a hard type ball type thing. And they can move in this ball. The ones on the outside move to the inside. That ball of bees can move from frame to frame inside your hive. The bees on the outside, pretty well, they rotate to the inside the same way our solar system revolves around the sun. They are revolving around your queen bee, which I think is so fascinating that is designed that way. So anyway, so they are inside there, they are wiggling their little bodies. Okay, let me see a wiggle from everybody. No, never mind. These bees, they do a wiggle in there, and they are generating heat and they eat the honey and generate this. These bees keep them warm, and possibly up to 90 degrees on the inside of that ball. Has anybody read that information? Isn't that amazing that here it's blue cold outside the hive and they're generating 90 degrees in there? So thus, they warm everything up inside there in this cluster, and they can create a condensation. It's cold on the outside, and here it's warm. You've seen condensation on your windows, right? So this happens, and oh, thank you. This ain't my flavor. No. So they can create a condensation, and the heat goes up, and it hits your top of your hive or your inner cover. If you don't have it ventilated good, it can drip onto your bees. If you have wet bees, you have dead bees. So we want to avoid condensation. So you do need ventilation, and one of our key things of ventilation is and I don't use it, but anyway, your inner covers, which has a hole. My beehives are so old and drafty anyway, so they have plenty of condensation. You can raise the lid a little bit where it's not airtight by putting a little stick in there about the thickness of a quarter, and you have air flowing through your hive that way. During the summer and so forth, they'll seal it all up with propolis, and but anyway, and the bees know how to use the propolis, even for entrance and air flowing through your hive, to keep it ventilated. Another amazing things that the bees know how to do that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a direction that you should have the hole in the thing? I mean, should it be to the south or should it certainly should not be to the north? Or in
Yeah.
the wintertime?
That's a real good question, and the books say, I think southwest,
Okay.
Southeast, I think.
southeast.
Okay.
I go whatever's convenient, and somehow my bees have lived through it. Whatever's you're happy with, which direction they're.
In the apiary where they're in multiple directions.
Yeah, I just,
Here in Arkansas, I don't know if it makes any difference. Maybe New York or something when they get snow high, or Wisconsin might be important, but I don't think the direction here in Arkansas makes any difference. That's my opinion only, and so keep that in mind. Okay,
So how does that ball function inside the frame?
the ball. So you have your frames, and they do cluster. They're going to cluster around the queen. So I don't know if you can just visualize your 10-frame hive. They're spaced out, not all in between one frame, but a bunch of frames.
So you don't need to do anything to your frame to still accommodate that.
Not really. And so that's partly why I like to have holes in my deep frames where they can pass through back and forth. And it's a communication hole also. We went to the Arkansas State Beekeepers Conference, and a fellow was selling some plastic frames that he had made, and I was going to bring some. I bought 10 frames. Did you buy 10 frames?
Yeah.
And
Right.
they have a hole right in the middle of the frame and on the outside. And so I will try to remember to bring those next time. That was part of my show and tell.
How big is the hole?
That big? Maybe that big.
I don't remember it being that big, but
I bought the deep frames, and they're very strong as far as his frames. And I brought information, and I had some books too that I didn't bring. That I don't know. I blame it on the bronchitis. Excuse me. Okay, you've heard of winter bees. These are bees that are being basically produced right now, where your queen is laying eggs, and she's laying winter bees. These bees look just like your normal bees, but supposedly your queen is selecting for winter bees. She's going to slow down in her laying of eggs. It's not like building up in the spring. She's slowing down. And they are more plump. I guess you'd call them fat bees.
big bone.
These are the bees that are going to take it through your hive through the winter. They're going to live the whole 3 months of winter time. And we call them fat winter bees. They're a little plumper than your regular field bees. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Anyway, we know that during the summer, your lifespan of your worker bee is approximately only 37 days. 20 of those days is inside the hive doing different duties, such as cleaning the hive that they were just born out of, grooming one another, doing jobs. As they get older, they progress through of feeding baby bees, and they produce a royal jelly out of their head. I always wondered where that stuff come from, but how could they squirt that out of their head? I don't know. But they feed the baby bees a royal jelly. The regular bees, they mix honey and nectar together and make the bee food. And they prepare wax. They grow the wax on their underside of their bodies and make the wax and so forth, as long as the nectar is coming in. Let's say no nectar is coming in and there's a lot of eggs laid. There is cannibalism, or they will reduce the baby bees because they know how many bees they have for the amount of food that is coming in. Is that not neat? So their whole goal is for the hive to survive. So these winter bees are designed, I guess you might say, for making it through the whole winter. Plumper bees. Anyway, our goal is for lots of fat winter bees. So if you're going to do any feeding right now to build it up for that weight on your hive, if it's a little bit weak, that you all are going to go through your hives and you're going to check to see how much honey you have, right?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad y'all are with me on this. So check and see if you need to feed your bees. I see no point in feeding bees if you have two supers of honey. Okay, number one thing that you got to consider when you're going through your bees right now is make sure your queen excluder is off of your hive. So if you have queen excluders on right now, they don't need to be there. Take off your queen excluders. Why?
Because they move up in the winter.
They move up. You don't want that queen to be trapped below the queen excluder.
Stay within the
Yeah, and so she needs to be up there in the ball of the hive. Normally, your hive, they won't leave a frame of brood to go up. So some of them will stay down with that if there's brood in your bottom area. So you're going to reduce your entrance. You're going to make sure you have no queen excluder. You're going to check your hives, so you don't want 2 frames of honey over here on the right, 2 frames here, and in the middle it's all empty. You're going to bring it all in to the middle, and you can put your empties on the side. You're going to have your, and I don't use it, but you're going to have your top cover and your lid. You're going to make sure that no water is going inside your hive. If there's snow on top of your hive, lots of my covers, my top hive has a hole in it for, I use bucket feeding on top, so that has to be plugged or replace the lid that does not have a hole in it. Any questions on that? I'm coming through clear as mud. What's our time? I know I'm going to have to quit talking, so I will.
Take care of yourself.
I will, before I choke to death here. I pretty well cruised through these notes here pretty fast, so I'm going to just let you ask some questions if you have any.
Okay, the first question I have is, you didn't cover wrapping your hives or putting
Okay.
any quilt boxes in. Now, Phoenix can't talk. Would you like to help us?
What do you want me to do?
Answer any questions about quilt.
I've never done that, but it's a good idea. I have started when I make a lid, I insulate the lid from the bottom side. I glue it in there sometimes or staple it, which gives them some protection from the winter. And it gives them also some reflection of the heat in the summertime. So that's one thing, but it's an excellent idea. I have most of my hives under roof anyway, so
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
don't, I
earlier
have, and then
on.
I have a curtain that I can pull down in front of them when it really gets cold, or cold rain, snow or something. So I don't know whether it helps or not, but I've been doing it now for 5 years.
I know last year we talked about how a lot of us insulated the hives. If you run screen bottoms like I do, I put my solid board in the bottom with actually sticky stuff on it to catch any mites if they may fall, if I have any. Didn't even get done until probably the end of December for me, and I'm even further north than y'all. Last year I bought one of those. You can get the tarps. Not tarps, billboard tarps that were cheap. I had a huge one, and I was able to cut custom wrappings for all of my hives. They're easy to store because you just roll them up and stick them in the barn that way. But I cut them up to the size of my hives, and I staple gun all the way around, and it cut down on it cut down really well on the wind because I have worse wind than really cold.
Because you're up there in northern Missouri, right?
Ha! Any further south, I'd be in Arkansas. But truly, that's the way I did. Also, when you were talking about the condensation within the hive, I have found that if I put in a dry sugar brick or even the newspaper method sugar, that tends to help with the condensation dripping down on that ball of bees. You don't want that to be there. So, and then it makes it easier for the bees to access the sugar, their own condensation. Yes,
You know,
sir.
talking about the condensation, I have used for the last 3 years anyway, the egg cartons, the
Yes, those
paper
big
mache
wide
egg
ones,
cartons,
yeah.
and you can buy them anywhere, the big square ones. And they fit perfectly on top of a good full-size hive.
Now, do you fill those with sugar then? Or,
Yes.
oh, okay.
And the little peaks that are in there,
Yeah.
I clip them off, and then I use 4 pounds of sugar, 3 ounces of water. You mix that together, make your paste, and then just fill it up. Wipe the little holes off, put it in the oven at the lowest setting for an hour and a half. Shut it off. The next morning you get out, they'll be ready.
Ready to
And
go.
they'll set perfectly on the top of a 10-frame soup.
Wow.
And
I want to come out and watch you do that.
And the good thing about it is you can put it right on top of your frames, or you can put it on top of your inner board. But they can access it from the bottom. They don't have to go this way. They can come up through those holes,
little
and you
holes.
put them little lids off to get to every bit of it.
And they're very controlled that way too.
Yeah, and it really would soak up a lot of water if you
It
have
would.
condensation problems.
Yeah.
I have a little spacer that I use, about like that I put on anyway,
Shim.
and just set it
Shim.
down in there.
Yeah.
It works. It really works good. for
No, I
me.
know that you guys take off for the holidays.
No, not for the holidays.
After,
Oh, winter, for half the year.
It's cool weather.
For the cold weather. You snowbirds, you.
Winter
So-
Texans.
Yeah, winter Texas. They're from my neck of the woods during the winter. So do you? There's another Texan right there. So do you close them up before you leave then, and do all that before you leave?
Well, I'll put all the stuff in because we leave the last of December. So
Yeah.
it's about January, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And all you can get them and you can stack them. I mean, it's just so simple, easy. But
Yeah.
the 4 pounds of sugar and 3 ounces of water, you think that ain't enough water, but it's almost perfect. And then put it in there and spread it around. You don't have to be easy with it or give it a certain thing, just spread it around there and clip those tops off, and they'll have a bunch of sugar to eat.
Wow.
Last year, I done that on every hive, and I really only had one hive that had eaten most of it. The
Now-
rest of it was left, so I put it out front and let them eat it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in y'all's opinion, you old timers, is it more important to wrap the hives up here? Because there's a couple of new people who are never kept bees in this area. Is it more important to wrap it and then put something dry in there to capture that condensation? Or is it, what do you think is the most important thing?
Well, I think the paper mache things for the sugar, with the sugar deal, that will take care of
All
a
the
lot of
condensation.
condensation, because they will absolutely soak up wet before they will drip any out. You know, but wrapping the hive around it, anything insulation is good. That's why I built my little cover, because I thought, you know, cold rain, snow, all that, like they're in an igloo.
Yeah,
But it doesn't cover anything, because up north they raise them and leave them out.
they do.
Yeah, so I have all screen bottoms. One thing I don't know, I've never heard a lot about, but one thing that I probably hate worse than anything in raising bees is these wax moths.
Ah.
I mean, they got in. I have a bee shed I built for that perfectly, and had some frames in there and all that. They will get in there and make a mess, and I don't try to save them. I burn them.
You just,
I've had
that's it.
one this fall. I watched one. I had one. I thought it was probably this Rob, but they had one frame of wax moths that started with it, so I threw them out. You know, check for anything else. But I mean, I don't know how they lay so many eggs. But
It's
they'll-
nuts.
They'll lay eggs on everything. My core was actually moving with the worms.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I cleaned the whole shebang, go out, and it's a mess to clean up. But
Yeah.
you have it in the frame. If it's in the super, I just take the whole super and put it in, light it. Because they're
Done.
hard to clean up after.
It is, it is.
But I have a bug light right down by them that runs 24/7, and I don't know, I can't tell a regular moth from a wax moth, but I would say probably, I don't know, I bet I killed half a gallon of moths every summer. I mean, if you measure them, like take the bottom open, but
Yeah.
go down there and bang on it a little bit, take an air hose and blow
Yeah.
them off, and all that. But and I had two of them one time, and when I first started years ago, and I don't know whether they were the beetles or not, but that one hive that was kind of directly across from me, it was full of little black beetles. And I don't know whether the light attracts them when they're flying or not, but I didn't get as many moths out of it, but I had a lot of little black beetles.
Slimed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
How's your
they
throat?
like pollen too, leftover pollen.
How's your throat?
It's still there.
Well, I can see.
Yeah. Thanks for the rest.
Sure.
Mine, as far as my winter prep thing is, I raise cattle and I have big round bales, and I store them in a tube type thing outside, and my beehives are between the round bales,
Good
Oh,
idea.
nice.
and it makes a windbreak. And so I've told different people, you can buy bales of straw, and you can stack those around your beehive.
I did
And-
that the first year.
So come spring, you've got hay for mulch for your garden. It's already there. And so you can use square bales of hay, but it's a little harder to get almost than square bales. But square bales of wheat or square bales of ryegrass or oats square bales for mulch is really great. You can use it for your bedding for your cows or this and that, or animals, but for winter, you put them around your beehive, and it makes a great windbreak. Go ahead, Joanne, sorry.
Well, the conversation I overheard today, you can get the bales of straw for $5.99 at Hirsch.
There you go.
There you go. Well, my first year keeping bees, and I remember we got 3 or 4, and we built a small wall of straw bales. And honestly, between the space between on the side where the wind was prevailing is where I put it, and between the bales and the hive, the sun was always on the south side, and it was a good 10, 15 degrees warmer between that little section. I mean, just the reflection of the sun right back onto that back side of the hive sure did help.
So, as far as a cheap and easy way, the straw bales I think are great. In my case, I'm going to be feeding the animals anyway, so that's where I put my round bales, and it's plenty of drainage. I used to think in my brain that hay had to be in a barn, but I now have a different thought. These round bales are designed with the netting to be outside and put that expensive tractor inside. And I was doing it wrong for years. And so my barn is now full of tractors and junk and beehives and junk. Did I mention junk?
Once or twice.
So hay stays outside, unless it's square bales. I have square bales inside.
So,
I'm jumping ahead, but a week ago, I just bought a square baler. So, and I'm gonna try to raise a lot of oats, so I'll have a lot of oat straw next year.
There you go.
That's the plan. You know,
That's the plan.
farming, what plans do when you're farming.
There you go.
any other questions? Were you covered?
So do you guys use quilt boxes?
Okay, quilt box.
Typically wrap the hive with.
I personally do not. And a quilt box that you're talking about is on top of your hive with shavings or wool, or I've wadded up newspaper and packed it full of newspaper, and it makes good for condensation, any of that. And it's like insulating your attic. You know, it keeps the rest of your house underneath warm, and that's the idea of the quilt box.
I mean, last year we really did I can send you the video or the address for the video that we shot last year when we really talked about this. Double bubble, that shiny insulation with that you can put up in barns.
And I've used that, yes.
Yeah, you can wrap your hives with that. That's really easy. Like I said, I use I've used so many different things, and my biggest deal is the wind.
And
Ripping away that
so that's what the whole idea partly of, just because I do it this way doesn't mean you have to do it my way. We have a lot of different beekeepers, and they're doing it different
I
ways.
saw people take tar paper back
tar
when.
paper.
I did that before. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Has anybody thought about wrapping their hives in these Mylar rescue blankets?
No, we haven't thought about that.
Just, they're really cheap, I think, and wrap the thing off.
If you do it, take videos and let us know.
They're also very rippable, and I would think if
Stronger than you think.
okay, well, I would almost consider that wrapping around the sharp edges of a hive, if you're stapling it or something, that if a gust of wind is gonna find a little tear, it's gonna tear it. That's what my worry would be. It's just a thought.
So do
I'm wrong.
you take the racking off in the spring then?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because
Same difference. I mean, they need the ventilation, they need to be dry. You're still promoting a little bit of condensation in there on cooler yet warmer days, and they just don't need that much help keeping the temperature. A warm bee is a hungrier bee, so you have to make sure that you have to have enough honey and or sugar water and or food on.
If it makes you feel good, do it.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's something to consider. That wrap is difficult to take off every time you go to inspect.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. But they have made a hive completely out of this foam stuff.
Yeah,
that's like all insulation.
Bees are going to do what they're going to do. For instance, my son had a swarm of bees go into a round gas tank, an old gas tank that hadn't been used. So here they are in this metal tank, the sun's shining on that. You can't even touch the top of the tank. It's so hot down there in Texas. And here the bees are going through a little hole about like that down the bottom, and they're surviving really well, and they're flapping their little wings and bringing air through that thing and circulating the air. So wintertime, they're able to survive, sometimes without our help. We want to help them so bad, doing wrapping and quilts and this and that. And we would like to just in the wintertime go down there and give them a hug and open the lid and tell them how great everything is. But the bees will survive if you have food in there for them. So that is your main thing at this time of the year. So don't get over concerned about wrapping your hive and quilt this and that, you know. It might help, and
you do everything under the sun for them, you still end up.
they still die.
Yeah, right. And then on the other hand, I did absolutely nothing. I didn't feed them. I didn't, wrap them. I didn't insulate them at all. And they went through just fine.
Yeah. So
So, I mean,
You're just
just
lucky.
6 of one, half a dozen the other.
So what have you took away from this? Feed your bees. Make sure you got plenty of food in there for them to go through the winter. We want some nice fat bees. Anything else?
Real good habit to get into. Go to the backside and chip it up. See how heavy?
Weight, yeah. See, feel the weight. If you're not going to go through the hive.
you can lift it, you know that there's not much honey in there.
Yeah.
It's good for it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called the harmony of natural law. That's what they go by.
Okay.
I like that. The harmony of natural law.
I hope you've took away something from today's little talk, and thank y'all for coming. I appreciate that. And I hope y'all think about voting this lady out. Oh, she's giving up, right? And
I just gotta.
you were going to be fired anyway. So.
Good. I was glad of it.
Are you a federal employee?
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.